Hi, I'm Jody England, and I'm presenting on James Nachtwey's photograph entitled Survivor of Hutu Death Camp from Rwanda, 1994. The genocide in Rwanda began in April of 1994 when the Rwandan Hutu president was killed by a Tutsi rebel group. These two opposing groups in the country, the Hutu and the Tutsi, began attacking one another, with the Hutu engaging in a mass slaughter of the Tutsi people, using machetes and farm implement equipment. It was one of the bloodiest and most brutal events of the late 20th century, with approximately 800,000 people dying within only a 3-month span. Photojournalist James Nachtwey's photo depicts a Hutu survivor living with scars from the Civil War. This photograph shows the profile of a young black man facing to the right. We see his right eye and his mouth both wide open. He has a hand, presumably one of his own, grasping his neck. Over his face we see several long, wide scars extending from the back of his head forward towards the front of his face. The scars from the inflicted wounds also show stitch scars, showing that his gaping incisions were at one time stitched. The top of the man's right ear is missing. The background behind him is a light gray, which offers a strong contrast to the dark skin of the man. The expression on his face, along with the scars and the mutilated ear, evokes strong emotions of despair. The Hutu man photographed here did not support the genocide. He had been imprisoned in a concentration camp. He was starved and attacked with machetes. He survived after he was freed and placed in the care of the Red Cross. James Nachtwey has stated that this Hutu man patiently allowed him to take photographs of his face for quite some time, and at one point turned his face toward the light to allow the camera to better capture his scars. James Nachtwey is a self-taught American photojournalist and war photographer. He was influenced by images from the Vietnam War and American Civil Rights Movement, and since 1981, he has dedicated his career to documenting wars, conflicts, and critical social issues in more than 30 countries. Nachtwey has said, "I have been a witness, and these pictures are my testimony. The events I have recorded should not be forgotten and must not be repeated." His intention is to record the truth, to document the struggles of humanity with hopes to wake up people and stir them to action. Nachtwey, putting human faces on global issues, is known for getting up close to his subjects to create an intimate closeness between his subjects and the viewers. His photographs create a narrative and give a voice to those who would otherwise not have a voice at all. The Survivor of Hutu Death Camp photograph pulls the viewer in with Nachtwey's tight cropping of the subject. The mutilated ear is in the near center, with the lines of the scars pulling our eyes outward across the man's face. The scars, being a much lighter color than the unscarred portions of his face, seem to highlight the brutality that he endured. This photograph by James Nachtwey was published in Time magazine, which Nachtwey has been a contract photographer for since 1984. Given the widespread audience that Time reaches, it was Nachtwey's intent to draw attention to the horrors that occurred in Rwanda. While that specific event saw an abandonment of the United Nations peacekeepers, Nachtwey has acknowledged that genocides occurring in other countries since the Civil War in Rwanda have seen a more swift intervention from the UN. It seems plausible that the visual reporting Nachtwey has given the world has contributed to not only awareness, but also systemic change within societies all over the world.